question, and this, I want you to imagine you're taking a trip from Michigan, a road trip from Michigan to California with your family, and you have a nail in your tire. How soon do you think you would want to know that that nail is there? Right away. Yeah, why is that? So you can get it fixed because you don't want to end up on the highway with a bum tire waiting on, who knows, AAA or whoever's going to come save you, right? Think about if you had somebody overcharging your bank account, right? How soon would you want to know about that? Right now, right? Why is that? Because it's your money. You don't want somebody overcharging your bank account. What about if you had something in your life that was depriving you of your health? Maybe it's causing symptoms and disease and taking your quality of life. How soon do you want to know about that? You want to know right now. Why? Because you have a purpose. You have a life to live and a purpose. You want to know so you can put a stop to it right now. So here's a question. What do you think, in this community, what do you think is the number one the number one cause of ill health? What's the number one cause of ill health in this community? Obesity. What else?
What we eat and drink.
Yeah. What we eat. What else?
Me lying to myself.
Okay. Yeah. We can tell ourselves the wrong things. Right. And what is the number one most important factor that determines that health?
Ourselves.
Right. So listen, I see all kinds of people in my office, all the same age, oftentimes the same economic background. So what determines someone who is healthy, living a healthy lifestyle, not taking any medications, versus someone who is obese, maybe creating diseases in their body, and on multiple medications? What's the determining factor there?
What we put in our mouth.
Yeah, that could be it. I feel as a clinical practitioner right here in Lansing, I've seen hundreds of families. I feel like the number one factor is action. It's action. You see, people who live healthy lifestyles, they put health as their priority. Say that word for me. Priority, right? I'm going to wake you guys up here a little bit, all right? These people, they take massive action, okay? They take massive action. Massive action. Oh my goodness. Say it again. Massive
Action.
Action. Yes. They do. They do. So think about it. Think about it this way. Say you read a bunch of books on nutrition, you're learning about nutrition and healthy eating habits, but you never take any action to change. Is it safe to say that you're not going to get any healthier? Yeah. I mean, think about it for a minute. How many of you know people who bought gym equipment or maybe a gym membership and they never really used it? Maybe it's you, right? Be honest. We all know people like that. Or what if do you know somebody that they know junk food's bad for them? They know it. You've had a talk. They know their poor lifestyle habits are not good for them, but they just don't do anything to change. Ultimately, that's why I'm giving you this information tonight, because I want you to take action. It's not just about the information, it's about taking action with that information. Because action really is what makes our life prosper, right? Folks, action allows us, where we put it, allows those areas in our life to prosper. Would you agree with that? Is that a fair statement? Yeah, prosper is a good thing, right? Not a bad thing. So we want every area of our life to prosper. ultimately that's why I'm here tonight. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Helena Miller, and I am the clinical nutritionist here at Gilead Healing Center. I specialize in nutrition response testing, okay? And the reason I'm here tonight is to not only give you life-changing information, but to inspire you to take action. Does that sound like a good way to spend our time tonight? Yeah. So in the next 30 minutes or so, you will discover one of the main causes of ill health in America. Sugar. Sugar consumption. I'm going to share with you some solutions that you can use today. You can start using them today to decrease your chance of ill health and dramatically improve your chances of not needing any drugs or surgery in the future. Does that sound good? Mm-hmm. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Uh-huh. All right. Very good. That sounds amazing. Also tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a chance. If you're someone who says, I want to take action now, I'm going to give you a chance for some time with me for my wellness breakthrough assessment, okay, using nutrition response testing. So if you want to take action now, this is something that's tailored specifically to you, and I'm going to offer that to you. We'll talk a little bit more about it when we're done, okay? So let's get to it. Sugar. This is what really we all want, right? Look at that equation, if you will. Life flow, lifestyle, equals lifespan. We all want longevity, yes or yes?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. I have a 95-year-old grandmother. I want to be like her. She still has her faculties. She lives in her own home, takes care of her own stuff. She's not a burden to her family. She used to, before COVID, she used to dance twice a week. I want to be her. That's longevity. I deserve that. You deserve that. Okay? Lifespan. But we have to have good life flow, good lifestyle. What does that mean? You got to eat well, move well, think well. You do those things, you get the right food in the body, you put the right food in the tank, you can have longevity, right? This video, I'm going to play this, and unfortunately, I apologize, we tried really hard to get the sound to come up, but I'm just going to kind of narrate it to you. This is a very old video, which is probably why the problem with the sound just, the technicalities of it anymore. I'm going to have to maybe I'll do my own version of this video, updated. That's a good idea, Dan.
Yeah.
Remind me of that. All right, so anyway, this is really what it's about with our consumption of sugar. Most people have no idea how much sugar they're consuming on a daily basis. So, oops. Let me see if I can get it to work. Leave it alone. Dan said, when it goes green, leave it alone. So, okay. And I didn't listen, did I? Okay, so here he's talking about, you've got some cereal and milk, you've got some toast. This is for breakfast, and a glass of juice. And so then he's going to pour and a banana. So how many people currently now that you know of or yourself eat like this, right? In the breakfast. This is breakfast. Most kids have cereal for breakfast. So he's now pouring in the bowl the amount of sugar that's in that meal for breakfast. Most of it's like a quarter cup of sugar. Okay, the juice is a quarter cup. The bread's a quarter cup. All right. And then you've got a fruit on the bottom, yogurt or something like that, right? We've all had those. It's better, it's got fruit in it, right? But we don't ever look at the label to determine how much sugar is really in there. So here he goes. Now here's lunch. Because you're a good low-fat dieter, I think is what he says. So she's got more bread, turkey or chicken, and a baked potato. Okay, and so you see, it keeps dumping the quarter cup of sugar into the bowl. Most people don't even think about, and then there's your afternoon snack, right? Because you're tired and you got the cravings for sugar, and so you decide you're going to grab a little snack and a soda. Okay, and so then he's just going to keep pouring the sugar in. But most people don't think about this, how much sugar they really eat. And that's why in our office we really focus on food logs. Our patients will write a food log for us. Why? Because you have to confront it. If I were to ask anybody in my office right on visit 1, do you have a lot of sugar? Do you eat a lot of sugar? Oh, no, I don't eat a lot of sugar, right? But they're not thinking about the not so obvious sugars like the breads, the rice, the pasta, that kind of stuff that quickly turns to sugar. So there's the whole day's worth of sugar. Right. Okay? You wonder why your kids are jumping off the walls? Or why you can't concentrate and you're all over the place, you feel a bit scattered. And you add that up for a whole year. This is what he's trying to explain to you. This is, if you eat like that, and this is the whole year's worth of sugar. Now, it used to be, sugar was something that was only the rich people had, right? Years ago, before my time. It was, you had to be pretty fancy to get sugar, or if you did, it was like once a year on your birthday, because it was really expensive, and then things changed, and sugar became the thing, and now it's super cheap, and it's everywhere, okay? So here's an example of the amount of sugar that's in a Mcflurry. This is just a small Mcflurry, okay? That's a lot of sugar. You've got sugar in the ice cream, sugar in the toppings, you name it, okay? Not only sugar in here, but probably high fructose corn syrup as well, which is even more toxic to the body than sugar, okay? And there's a Starbucks coffee. I'm sorry, I know you guys love Starbucks coffees, especially the frou-frou kinds that cost you $7 a pop, or what are they now, 9? With inflation, all the inflation now, they're probably 9. But they have a lot of sugar in them, don't they? And then if you get the sugar-free stuff, then you've got to worry about artificial sweeteners, which is another evil, okay? It's another evil. So just get your coffee black. Just learn how to drink it black and put some cream, heavy cream in it or something, or maybe stevia. Cinnabon. This is an old picture, I get it, but I haven't taken it out because it reminds me of my childhood. I used to go through the Lansing Mall or the Meridian Mall, and you could always smell the cinnamon rolls, right? Am I right? You're smelling them? Oh my goodness, my goodness. This is a big deal, right? Yeah, but look at all the sugar. But here's an orange. All right. That's doable. Still got sugar, it's natural sugar, fructose, but it's doable. So what's better? Let me ask you this, what's better? Drinking a glass of orange juice or eating an orange?
An orange.
Eating the orange.
Eating the orange. Why is that?
Fiber.
It's less processed. Overall, it's less sugar. Why is that? Has anybody ever tried to juice some oranges? It takes forever. And how many oranges do you need?
A lot.
You need a lot of oranges just for one glass of juice, 2 to 3 good-sized oranges, if I remember right. So that's a lot of sugar, right? So you're multiplying that by 3, then you've got a lot of sugar. Yes, it's still fructose, but it's sugar nonetheless. Let me tell you a story. I had a patient, her name, I'll call her Molly Moo because that's what her grandma calls her. She's a teenager. And Molly Moo comes to me, she's got really, really awful menstrual cycles. I mean, awful, awful menstrual cycles. Lots of pain to the point of almost vomiting. Sometimes she would vomit. Pretty much down and out for a good 24 hours, this girl. And I check her and I tell her, look, Molly Moo, you've got to stop eating sugar because your uterus just doesn't like it. Just makes your uterus just go boom and crash. And so when your cycle comes, it's just 10 times worse. Like, can you stop eating sugar? Yeah, I can try and stop eating sugar. And she did for a while, and she experienced better cycles. And then one day she decided, in between visits, she decided, she's a teenager, you know how they are, they know better. They know what they can do and what they can't do. She had a lot of sugar. And I knew she had a lot of sugar. She came to me, crash. Like, you've had sugar. Yeah. How was your cycle? Awful. Were you throwing up? Yeah. Are you going to do it again? I don't think so. This is what we're dealing with. These are the types of challenges. And how many women and young girls do you know that have miserable cycles? A lot. It was just second nature in my family. My mother, my sister, myself. It was awful. I would miss a day of school every month because I was miserable. On the couch with Motrin and a heating pad. That was me. Do you think that's normal? No. It's common, certainly common, but it's not normal. Needless to say, Molly was doing a little bit better. She is learning her lesson. She's still a teenager though, and they will still test the waters. Maybe it's not so bad, you know, but she learned. She learned the hard way. And you just never know. In my world, anything can cause anything, so you just never know what your consumption of sugar is doing and what it's contributing to in your health. And that's why I gave you tonight the 147 reasons why sugar's killing you. Okay, I want you to look at it. If you've never seen this sheet before, I want you to look at that. I want you to be honest with yourself and find yourself on there. Most of us can. If you look at number 50, what does number 50 say?
Cardiovascular disease.
Cardiovascular disease, that's right. Do you know what the top 3 causes of death are in America? Anybody? Even today, in this whole COVID business, even today, the top 3 causes of death are cancer, heart disease, and medical error. So what do you think we should be focusing our attention on? I don't care what the TV tells you. What do you think we should be focusing our attention on? Hand sanitizer and masks? No. We need to be focusing our attention on getting our body in good working order. How are we going to do that? The first step is to get the sugar out. That's what causes heart disease. It's right there on your sheet. That make sense? Here's Oreos. Everybody loves Oreos, but you know what? You open the package, and they're getting smaller, by the way, aren't they? And they're still charging you the same price. A lot of things are like that right now. That's part of inflation too, by the way. They look the same, but they're not. The price is the same, but you're getting less for your money, okay? So, Oreos, very toxic, very full of chemicals, preservatives. These guys can stay on the shelf forever, and sugar, okay? You know the idea about this picture though? We're not going to eat just the 4 on the left, right? We're not. We're probably going to eat the whole row, right? We're going to eat the whole package, right? And then we're going to look at it like, how did I do that? Oh my gosh, I blacked out. I don't even remember eating all of those, right? Surely somebody's been in here. Somebody else came in to do that. All right, there's your McDonald's shake. And a Snapple iced tea. You're like, okay, I'm not going to drink pop out. Yeah, I'll drink iced tea, right? Well, you got to understand if it's unsweetened, that's great. But if it's a sweet iced tea like Snapple, here you go, right? And they got the big bottles, but you know, here's a glass. But people usually don't stop there, do they? We're going to eat the whole. We're going to drink the whole bottle because that's what we do. There might be 2 servings in there, but we're going to do it. Make sense? Sorbet. It's better than ice cream. It's sorbet. It rolls off the tongue all pretty like sorbet. It's ice cream, basically. I mean, yeah, it's a little different. But it's got sugar. It's got dyes, right? They come in all colors and flavors. And you don't eat just the little bowl, do you? The pint, you're going to put it in the bowl, and then you're going to put it back in the freezer. And then an hour later, you pull it back out. Maybe just grab the spoon and just start digging in until it's gone, right? Am I right? And if you have kids, they're going to put it in the freezer empty. They're gonna, because they don't want you to know that they ate the rest of it.
Thought they were going to leave it in the corner of their bedroom.
Or they'll leave it in the corner of their bedroom and it's all like leaking everywhere. Yeah, that's true. That's true. They can do that for sure. And there's a pineapple. How many of you like pineapple? I love pineapple. Hated it as a kid. Absolutely hated it pineapple as a kid. I ended up going, by the grace of God, it was an amazing experience. Went to Hawaii after my senior year in high school, and we had this big luau, and people we were with, they're like, if you don't like pineapple, take it anyway, because You don't want to put their feelings, and they put this all together. So I took it, and I had pineapple for the very first time, and I loved it because it was fresh from Hawaii. Oh my goodness, right? I opened my eyes to how good something can really be if it's fresh. But much better for us, right, to eat some pineapple. We got a sugar craving, eat some pineapple instead of going to McDonald's or, get a cinnamon roll. All right, so like I said, back in the day, 100 years ago or so, probably more than that now, people really only ate about 6 pounds of sugar a year. But you're looking at that video earlier, and that was a lot more than 6 pounds of sugar, wasn't it? I mean, we're now eating, this is probably closer to 300 pounds of sugar per year now, honestly. Everything has sugar in it. You look at the labels, you'll be astounded. And sometimes it doesn't even say sugar, it'll say O's, something with O's on the end of it. Fructose, sucrose, all of these things, right? High fructose corn syrup, all of this stuff is just sugar. And that's only the obvious sugars. Then you have to think about the not so obvious sugars like the bread, rice, pasta stuff. That stuff just turns to sugar. It just gives us a nice little big blood sugar spike, and then we get a dip. What happens on the dip? Does anybody know?
We eat more.
We eat more. We start wanting more. What else? Salt. Do you get tired?
Yes.
Yeah? Do you need a nap? What time does that happen in the morning? About 10 a.m.? Office workers know very well about the dip. They're sitting at their desk, they've been working for a couple hours, and then they're like, oh, man, I'm so tired. They either go get another cup of coffee, or they get a cup of M&Ms, like in the video, right? Like you gotta have that mid-morning snack because you got the dip. And then it happens again in the afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. A lot of times people are coming home from work and we get into accidents because we're on the dip. And we're like, we can't even stay awake, okay? This is the roller coaster of blood sugars. Comment. That's a great question. What do you think the answer is?
Sugar.
Sugar. Right. I already gave you the answer. All right. Sugar causes cholesterol problems. Newsflash. Sugar causes cholesterol problems. What have we been told causes cholesterol problems for probably the majority of my life? At least the past 3, 4 decades. Fat, right? Fat. You know why that is? It was based off of one study where they looked at arteries and they're full of cholesterol and plaquing. So it's gotta be the cholesterol. That makes sense, you say. However, if you know physiology, you need to understand why the cholesterol went there in the first place. Now, every time there's an accident out here in Saginaw, do the cops show up? They do, every single time, right? They call the cops and here they come. So the logic with the cholesterol, that the cholesterol is always there in those clogged arteries, is the same as saying to yourself, well, every time there's an accident, the cops show up. So it must be the cops' fault. Right? Do you see where I'm going with that? Of course, that doesn't even make sense. It's not the cop's fault. Well, guess what? It's not the cholesterol's fault either. Yes, it's there. Yes, it's oxidized. It's plaquing. It's obstructing that artery. But guess what caused it to go there in the first place? It doesn't just hang out there. It goes there for a purpose. Your body sends it there for a purpose. It's to patch up the junky diet that causes inflammation in your vessels. It's going to go and patch it up. So it's the sugar. The sugar is the root cause of it. And how do we really know that what I'm saying is true? Do we still have heart disease? Yeah, we do. The cath labs are not going out of business. There are 2 big hospitals in the area with great thoracic surgeons, and they're not staying at home. They're busy. They're busy because we still have heart disease. We still have people with cholesterol problems, plaquing up their arteries, and we're eating less fat than ever. We really are. Most people still shop for low-fat this and fat-free that, don't they? We do. Let me give you a little pointer. Whenever there's fat-free this or sugar-free that, it's a chemical crap store. All right? They're taking that stuff out, but in Otherwise, you're not going to like it, which is the chemical crab storm. You got to know this. In fact, our hospitals are so busy in this area. Our hospitals are so busy in this area with all the, the heart inflammation and the clots and stuff that are going on in the world today. I'm going to share with you why today I'm a bit emotional because I need this to get across to you, it's so important to me, because this morning I got a text from my mother, and she let me know that a family member of mine died this morning. And he recently had open heart surgery, quadruple bypass. That's a pretty serious open heart surgery. I have a history in respiratory therapy. I did that for 20 years. So, I worked a lot in the ICU. I returned a lot of open heart patients. In fact, when I was in college, I had to stand and watch an open heart surgery as part of my college training as a respiratory therapist. So I know very well how extensive that surgery is and how, there's always complications that can happen. And so 4 vessels, he had to have 4 vessels bypassed. And he got through the surgery okay. I didn't hear anything bad about it. He got home, and I don't even actually know how long he was home. And they couldn't wake him up this morning. And our hospitals are so busy right now with heart patients, cardiac issues. He had to have this surgery all the way in Kalamazoo because they couldn't accommodate him here. That's how busy we are. So there's no shortage of heart disease. Okay? So that's why it's very personal for me tonight to get this message across to you and for you to take it to the people you love and care about, because we have to make our health a priority. It has to be a priority, and we have to take action if we want to have the longevity and the lifespan that we deserve. Yeah, read that. And then read it again. Sugar is the only thing that cancer cells eat. So if you have that dreaded diagnosis, or you want to prevent ever being told that, what's the one thing you need to start doing? You need to eliminate the sugar. Life is still good, by the way, without sugar. Life is good. Grandmas get over it, right? Grandmas they're trained. When we get older, we just fall into this normal habit of every time the grandkids come over, they've got to have sugar. We've got to make cookies, and we've got to have sugar. And I'm not a good grandma unless I'm feeding them sugar, and then I send them home. And then they're jumping off the walls. That's happened to me, I'm here to tell you. So we have to get over that mindset. We have to get over the mindset that every celebration that we have in life has to involve sugar. We can make treats without sugar. I use stevia constantly. I use the sweet leaf drops constantly in all kinds of treats, right? There's ways to do it. You just adapt your recipes or find new recipes. They're everywhere. This is not a new concept. So there's options everywhere to replace sugar with other alternatives, okay? Sugar is also the cause of hypoglycemia. That's low blood sugar, right? So you're saying, wait a minute. How is it that sugar causes low blood sugar, right? That doesn't make sense, but it's the truth. Okay, remember that roller coaster ride I was telling you about with the sugar? Sometimes the body does a really, really, really good job getting the sugar in the cell, and it'll drop you too low. Then what happens? Then you got to sit down, you feel faint, you're hot. I mean, all kinds of things happen when you have this hypoglycemic attack. And now what's the first thing people do? They shove sugar in their mouth, right? Because it helps. But the overall goal of this is to reduce the sugar. Eat so that your blood sugar is nice and even throughout the day. So you don't have that 10 o'clock slump with the coffee and the candy. You don't have that 3-4 make sense? Yes or yes? Yeah. And I think this is, if nothing else gets across to you today, this has to hit home. Sugar absolutely does suppress your immune system. Every single time without exception. So who in here wants a strong immune system? Raise your hand. Me too. By golly, I want it to be strong, like bull, right? I mean, that's what I want. I want to be fearless. I want to be fearless, and you should be able to be fearless because you take care of your immune system. How do you do that? Number 1 step, you get the sugar out of your diet. Number 2 step, you get on some good quality nutritional supplements. That's what you do. Number 3, you get somebody on your team like me, or like Dr. Jean-Guy, who can design a nutrition program especially for you to make sure that your body is in good working order. Does that sound good? Good working order, just like you do with your car, right? If you buy a used car, are you going to just drive it off the lot and never look under the hood? No, you're going to take it probably to a mechanic and you're going to say, hey, fix this thing up. That's what I'm going to do with my daughter. She's 14, so I got to start thinking about a car for her. I'm not going to buy her a new car if she's not driving my car. I'm going to get her a used car, and I'm going to put it in good working order for her. And then I'm going to keep it there. I'm going to maintain it for her. Okay? Why is it that we as Americans, especially guys, sorry, but this is true, you guys take care of your cars better than you do your body? You absolutely do. It's true. Okay? The first thing people usually say to me when I start telling them and helping them get sugar out of their diet is, okay, what am I going to do about the cravings? They're worried about it. They don't want to think about it all day long. They don't have to think about it if they're allowing themselves to eat it, right? What am I going to do about it? The first step is to get healthy fat in your diet. Put the healthy fats back. I'm not talking the French fry fat. I'm not talking about the cracked chicken fat, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's fried and just rancid fat. Tastes good, but it's really not supportive to health. So that's the first step. And then you just got to continue to put good food in the tank, like good protein and veggies. Right? Eat more whole food, real food. Why? Because you're a Mercedes-Benz. Did you know that? We are Mercedes-Benz. I knew a young man once, he was 19 years old, and he needed a car. You know how 19-year-old guys are, right? And so he had just under $1,000, I think, to buy this car with it. He found, somewhere here in town, he found himself a Mercedes-Benz for $800. And so he bought it. It ran. I couldn't believe it. It runs $800? And actually, it looked too bad. And he was all proud of this Mercedes-Benz. Big stuff, right? Being a 19-year-old kid. Big stuff. So he runs out of his gas, right? There was gas in it. So he's driving it for a few days before he needed to put gas in it. But what he didn't realize is that you have to put 92 octane in a Mercedes-Benz. You can't just put 87. He didn't know that. He's a broke kid, 19 years old. So he fills his tank up with 87 octane. Needless to say, the car didn't last very long after that, and he didn't have the money to get it fixed. I don't even know what they do to get the bad gas out and get it all cleaned out. I don't know, but yeah. So your Mercedes-Benz, don't put 87 octane in the tank. You deserve 92 octane. I don't care how expensive it is. You know, you deserve it. There's ways to be frugal with 92 octane, you know. There's rewards points. There's all kinds of stuff, right? Okay? Make sense? So how do we fix the overall scope of the body? How do we prevent these things? Besides sugar, we know that. What else can we do? And why is it so important to get the body in good working order? Well, the truth of the matter is we're all toxic in things, and we're all deficient. We're toxic, and we're deficient. Why? Well, because the quality of our food is junk, right? Even the best of eaters, we're still deficient. We're still deficient because we probably didn't spend it. Like me, if you're like me, you spend your whole life eating good food. Heck no, I had Mountain Dew every day. My mom didn't care. I was allowed to have Mountain Dew. It was in the glass bottle. I'm dating myself, but it was the best thing for me back then. Or so I thought. But did it suppress my immune system? You bet it did. Was I sick a lot? Oh yeah. Allergies, asthma, bad menstrual cycles, all of it. I had it all back then. But you put the body in good working order, and guess what? Those symptoms start going away. Symptoms are often the last thing to show up when we've been far too deficient for far too long, and then the first thing is to start going away once we start putting good food and the right nutrition in the body. You get the body in good working order, and then you maintain it, just like your car. Okay? Listen. The reality is, you and I, we have basically 3 outcomes in life. We do. The first outcome is we're going to grow older, and we're probably going to fall victim to heart disease or cancer, and we're going to die early, just like my family member. And we're going to leave our family struggling, wondering what we could have done differently. That's the first option. The second option is we're going to grow old, well into maybe our 80s, but we're not going to know our name, and we're not going to be able to look at you and say, "Oh, hi, daughter." We might be in a diaper in a nursing home somewhere, or we might have to be taken care of by our family, being a burden to them, to the ones we love. And the third option is we grow old and well into our 80s and 90s, and we can take care of ourselves, and we're not a burden, and we can do our own chores and our own laundry like my grandma. That's our third option. So I ask you tonight, what is the path you want? Do you want path number 1, path number 2, or path number 3? I'm going to ask you again, do you want path number 1, path number 2, or path number 3?
3.
I want path number 3, you betcha. That's what I want. That's what I want for you. I see too many people in our community who are creating diseases. They're taking multiple medications that they don't need to have. It didn't need to happen. I see kids in our schools that are taking 2, 3, sometimes even 4 prescription medications. Did you know that 54% of our kids are chronically ill in this country? Anybody besides me ever get a 54% on a test? What was that? That was a big fat fail, wasn't it? Do over. You didn't study. Why are we allowing this? What is wrong with our healthcare system that our kids don't get better than 54% chronically ill? Something has to change, doesn't it? And where it changes is with us, with me. It changes with me. I'm a mama bear. I'm not going to have my kids be in the 54%. No, there's no way. Not knowing what I know about how to get the body well and in good working order and keep it there. I am not going to have my kids chronically ill. I stand to start a domino effect with my children of good health, so that they can grow up with good health and know what it takes to be healthy. And then when they have children, guess what? Their children are going to be healthier than what I was and what they were, because it's a domino of health instead of a domino effect of degeneration. That's what I want. That's what I want for all of you and your children and grandchildren, because why? That's what's necessary. We don't need to suffer. There's too much suffering. Far too much suffering. There's my soapbox. Woo! All right. we're born, we're healthy. We don't need this, that, and the other thing. We're naturally healthy. All we need is a good breast milk and we're good to go, right? We are self-healing individuals. How do we know that? Doctors know that. We know that if we cut our finger, are we going to freak out and have to do all this stuff to it? No, you slap on a Band-Aid in a couple days, it's better. By the next week, it's gone, right? We're self-healing individuals. Why don't we heal properly? We don't heal properly because there's barriers to that healing. There's barriers like food sensitivities. There's barriers like toxic chemicals and toxic metals. There's barriers like immune challenges. Do you know what the number one immune challenge that I handle in my practice every single day? What is it? Take a guess. It's parasites. It's not viruses like you would think. It's parasites. Whoa. That's the number one immune challenge, right? They can be hanging out. You won't even know they're there, but they're causing you problems. It's a challenge. It's a stressor to your body and how it's functioning. Right? There you go. So we're sick. We are sick by default. I'm sorry to tell you that. Less than 10% of what happens in our health really has to do with our genetic code, our makeup, our history, our family history. Most of it's lifestyle habits and eating. We're not able to adapt well to our environment, right? There's people who get sick it's cold and flu season. They have chronic sinus infections. My sister is one of them. She gets chronic sinus infections all the time. What do? You get more and more antibiotics, right? And I like this. Stems from, I was listening to a podcast several years ago, and this doctor said just this. He said that all of that sickness stems from crud in the blood and being drunk with junk. I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, oh my God, that's good. I gotta keep that. I gotta put that somewhere. So there it is. All right, so here's the big picture. Every time we have sugar, every single time without exception, it creates nutritional deficiencies. Every single time. And because we have nutritional deficiencies, and that's the fuel for our organs, guess what? We also have organ dysfunction. Make sense? Yes or yes? Yeah. Every single time this happens, you could literally put any symptom in that top circle or oval, and the same thing would be true. Okay? So if you have chronic headaches, guess what? Every time we have a headache, it's because we have specific nutritional deficiencies, and there are organs that are not working properly because of that. Every single time. If you have anxiety, if you have depression, if you have stomach problems, Crohn's disease, you name it, you could put that in the top, and those other two ovals apply every single time. And what happens when this doesn't get handled properly, and you don't get it to stop, is you have this downward spiral of symptoms that start coming more often, don't they? And they become more severe. Maybe it started with just a stomach ache, and now it's like cramping, and now it's like you can't stay out of the bathroom, and you don't know what's going on, and then you go to the doctor, and the doctor doesn't know what's going on, and you feel helpless. I see that all the time in practice. All the time that happens. People have no idea how to stop it from happening. But I'm here to tell you tonight, nutrition response testing is the halt. It's the halt to get your body to get back into good working order. It's designed clinical nutrition. Like I said at the beginning, this is designed and tailored specifically to you, to your needs, to what underlying barriers to healing that you have. It's not cookie cutter at all. Cookie cutter is when you go into the hospital and you have symptoms of heart failure, and Jane Doe next to you has symptoms of heart failure. You're both going to get the same protocol. That's cookie cutter. With the exception of your known drug allergies, you're all going to get the catheter, you're all going to get an EKG, you're going to get an IV, you might have some Lasix, you're going to get a chest x-ray, you're going to get some lab work, whatever. It's going to be the same. It really doesn't matter why I have heart failure or why Jane Doe went into heart failure. It's called evidence-based practice. That's what you're going to do, right? Nutrition response testing is not that way. It's specifically designed just for you based on your body's nutritional deficiencies and the needs of your organs, okay? Overall health is the goal. Get the body in good working order and keep it there. It's safe. It's natural. I see people all the time with a laundry list of medications. They come to me. I'm not worried about that. Most of what I use is whole food. Safe and effective, no contraindications. If I use herbs, then yeah, I gotta be cautious. But I have all kinds of whole food supplements that are the building blocks to our cells that can allow the body to start getting in better working order. That sounds good, doesn't it? Side effects aren't fun. They're not fun. Medications, all of them, have side effects. Alrighty. So, I'm going to wrap up, but at the end you guys can ask me some questions, so you stick around. But I really want you to think about the status of your health, whether you're here in person tonight or you're at home watching live. I want you to not only, I don't want you to just use this information tonight, right? Anybody read a book, a good book, like a self-help book, and then never do anything in it that it tells you to do? Whether it be a finance book or whatever you do too, yeah, I don't want that for you. I want you to take this information, because it really is life-changing. It's as simple as this oftentimes. And I want you to take action, okay? That's why I'm offering you the Wellness Breakthrough Evaluation. So what does that mean? That means you come in, you do some paperwork for me, okay? Then what that means, this is a 2-visit evaluation, by the way, a 2-visit process. Then what you're going to do, you're going to have what's called a heart rate variability study. That's a study of your overall health. How truly healthy are you physiologically? It also looks at your nervous system function, because if your brain can't talk to your body and your body back to your brain, that's a problem, okay? And so that's the next step. We do body composition analysis, because a lot of our patients, they want to lose weight. And so that's a good way for us to track their body fat percentage and how well they're hydrating and their metabolic age, all of these things, okay? And then you get the clinical assessment from me, okay? That's where we discover all of the nutritional deficiencies that your body says is the priority for you at that moment, and what organs are being affected by that. And I use all of that data to build a specific nutrition program just for you. And then I send you home with a food log, because remember I said it's important. You got to confront it. You can talk, your logic tells you all day long that you don't eat that much sugar. But once you write it down and you really look at it and confront it, guess what? You do. You eat quite a bit. And that will help you, guide you with my assistance to get that sugar out and replace it with more healthful foods. Then you come back to see me for a report findings visit, okay? That's really where we sit down and we discuss everything that I found. How my nutrition programs really work. What it's going to do to benefit you. Whether you're actually a good candidate for our office, to be a patient in our office or not, right? Because it's not for everybody. We give you everything, all of the information you need to make an educated decision and just say, you know what? Sign me up. Let's go. Right? We have 3 types of people that come to our office. The first type of person, they're all in, man. I'm telling you, they're going to do whatever I ask them to do, and they're going to win. Right? That's exciting. Those people come all the time, and I love those types of people. And we have people who come into our office that are all in, but maybe sometimes they fall off the wagon, you know, life gets crazy, we get it, we're really good at wrangling you back in, getting you back on track. And then there's the third type of person. This type of person, for whatever reason, they want to get better, but they just don't want to team up, right? They don't want to take the action. And so they're not going to get well. Never happens. Because you got to take that action, don't you? You have to be a willing participant in your own health. Okay? So if you're a 1 or a 2, I'm happy to help you. If you're a 3, maybe I'm not for you, and that's okay, right? So tonight, the Wellness Breakthrough Evaluation, $65 if you sign up tonight. Pay the $65, you get a spot on my schedule. My schedule fills up fast, so I implore you to just take action tonight and sign up. Get yourself on my schedule so you can discover for yourself where your problems lie. What organs are serving you well and which ones need help, right? This is true for you at home. If you're watching at home, the offer stands for you as well. What I'm going to ask you to do is to give us a message, send us a message inbox of your email address or however you'd like us to contact you, whether it be phone number or email, and we will contact you first thing in the morning and we will get you signed up and you'll get that offer as well. This is an over $80 discount, by the way, and so take advantage of the discount. And I do this because I'm really passionate about getting my community well. There's too much suffering. Like I said, I worked in the hospital for 20 years. I know very well what suffering is. Trust and believe. And I had to change it up. I had to find a way to not only get my body well and my children, but now I get to share it with you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching live at home. I appreciate it. Check us out with our social media pages, Russell Daniel Holistic Health Center and Gilead Healing Center. Thanks.